Yo, what is up, guys? It's Bankrupt Dope, back again with another video. And today we are back on some Honkai Star Rail. Now, the reset happened, Apocalyptic Shadows here. So if you're wondering where the Zone Zero content is, it's coming. Do not worry, it's still coming. But you know, obviously, y'all know how MiHoYo it is. Like, which we have to wait to get out of little drop patch. Because like literally all the content I'm dropping for Zone Zero is me just grinding my relics up. Like, I'm not worried about clearing the MOC of that game because my characters aren't prepared for it. Like, there's just nothing more to it besides my stats are not there, so I'm not gonna force something, especially when I'm getting bad rolls. Like, unfortunately, I'm getting smoked in the relic department on that game, so it's all like there's not much I can really do to full clear it, and I'm not gonna sit here and stress. I'm gonna clear as far as I can and do everything, but like I'm not stressed to get all the stars because at the end of the day, it's artificial because there's a timer. At the end of the day, it's all artificial difficulty by timer, and your timer is directly correlated to your stats in game. Period. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't have stats, you're not completing it. Right? So we're putting that game on the back burner for a little bit, and we'll drop some Star Rail content in the meantime, as my account's getting better over there on Zone Zero, as we're getting more content. So this leads me all to say, right, before we hop into anything, I hope you're having a good day today. Even having a good day, I hope your day gets better. Now, Apocalyptic Shadow is here. And I have to say, this is probably harder than MOC. Right? Now, I failed MOC more and took longer to clear MOC than I did this. But I feel like overall, more people may struggle with this than they do MOC. I could be wrong. This is just my initial impressions. Why? Because there's a timer. My biggest thing is the timer. I do not like the timer. I think it's the fakest form of difficulty ever, right? The difficulty should be in-game content. And I feel like they have it here, but it's still being supplemented by a stupid timer. And it's like, oh, if you don't beat timer, you're not good. I hate it. I hate that idea. It's not real. It's artificial. It is not a determiner if somebody's good or not at all. It just means you either pay a lot of money and you have stats, or you have a high lot of stats. And sometimes you can't control the stat part. At the end of the day, especially when you take money out of the equation, it becomes a stat thing. And if you just happen to be the worst relic roller on planet Earth, then some of your characters end up being mid. It is what it is. But this might be the hardest content in the game. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to roll it. I'm going to click auto and see what it does. I think I did most of this on auto. So this should be around the same. But we're going to go ahead and talk while the content is playing. And let me say it because now, like, some of y'all are like, you need to say exactly what you're doing and what your character looks like. We got E6 Acron. Which doesn't matter, right? Because to be honest, Eidolons, for some characters, do trump your stats like by a long shot. But for Acron, her stats trump her Eidolons. Let me throw that out there, right? Because I can confidently say I have a mid Acron, and I know I do. I've always said I had a mid Acron. I've never once said I had the best. I think maybe day one I was like, this is a great Acron for day one, and then I never grinded more relics after day one. So yeah, when you see the stats and all this, just know I've rocked the same relics from the day her joint came out. I'm granted I pre-farmed all those relics, but I used the best relics to what I had at my disposal, and I'm still using them to this day. So I might have made a couple tweaks, but like I'm not really ever super focused into changing anything because I don't really have to. I don't know why I didn't start the battle in the time that I talked. I just wasted time and skill points. But yeah, we do have E6 Acron because apparently that has to be stated, or else everything I say goes out the window because people turn off their ears and don't pay attention to anything being said besides you have E6 Acron. So yeah, E6 Acron. So why do I think that this might be one of the most difficult things in this entire game, right? We're not talking about Swarm Disaster and that because obviously those numbers are fluctuated more than what, the regular game is, right? But this versus MOC versus Pure Fiction, right? I've cleared all three. And they're all difficult in different ways, right? And still difficult because of a timer. So let's make it clear that I still think that it's very, very much sufficient. I know I repeat it so often, but I have to make it clear when I say the difficulty in my brain, it's not actual difficulty compared to anything else outside of this game standards. only in this game standards is this stuff difficult, right? So you have the pure fiction difficulty of I can't AoE everything, so I am no longer good in this content, right? That's what you experience over there in pure fiction. MOC becomes it's just a standard damage check. Do you have characters on rate up? And it's kind of functioning the same as Apocalypse Shadow. In a way, they kind of do the same thing. MOC has a turn counter. Apocalyptic has a point counter. They both tick down the longer you take. Inevitably, and in a way, they are the same exact thing, just in a different style. I don't know if you guys ever seen things where like you can click like a clock and you can show it in different ways. Like you can just see, look at the regular clock, you can look at it with the extra point decimals and everything behind. Like you can see like 15 seconds, 1 minute, so many milliseconds, and then you can keep going, right? That's kind of how Apocalypse the Shadow Timer is to turn counters in my brain. That might not be exactly true, obviously. I know that's probably one for one, like somebody's doing math and realize that that's not how that actually works. But in my brain, that's how it seems. Because they all achieve the same purpose. They're all timing me, right? And I can even apply the same thing to pure fiction. They all feel the same in terms of what is my difficulty? It's beating that timer over there to the right of my screen. It's always that, right? But let's dig further. What makes this so difficult, right? And one of them is the character that's on screen right now, Kafka. The hardest version of MOC was when Kafka was a part of the game. Why? Because crowd control. Crowd control is so insanely strong when it's used against us. It's not even funny. And oddly enough, we've only had 2 of these, but the hardest Apocalypse Shadow contains Kafka in it. And I'm pretty sure she will probably stay the hardest. I mean, obviously I have to see new content, but I think she'll be amongst the most difficult content in this game for a long time. In every facet that she enters in, and especially in the Apocalypse Shadow. So part of it is just the fact that it's Kafka. Kafka is her. There's really not much to say to it. She's like, Kafka is her, right? So yeah, the damage you take in round 1 is hard. Like, look at this. You guys see my Pela getting cooked right now, right? We might not make it out of this one. There is a good chance we do not make it out of this. But I'm gonna keep the run playing. Yeah, we've lost, by the way. If you cannot tell, this run is dead. Why is the run dead? Because this guy's about to kill my whole team. Or he's about to kill my support. Yep, there she goes. This run is now dead. But I'm going to keep playing it anyway. This is what makes this so difficult. I don't know who designed this one. I'm going to be honest with you. The damage for this one is a little crazy, in my opinion. You might not think so. But in my opinion, I think the damage that is being dealt here is pretty freaking insane. And obviously, I don't have any new supports, right? My newest support is Fwan. This is my most current, like, keeping me alive character. Look, I'm gonna pause it. Okay. Oh, the game was smart. I didn't even have to pause it. The game actually knew exactly what to do in that situation. But yeah, my most current healer defense is Fwan. Fwan's kind of old. I found problems with Fwan when she actually dropped. Like the idea for kit was awesome day 1, but the more and more that I use, wow, she survived. The more and more I use it, and especially as the game gets harder and enemies start hitting harder, her kit starts to diminish a little bit, right? Because there's only so much defense, and I have her pretty high statted in defense. Keep in mind, and she still gets cooked. Like, the damage mitigation to your allies doesn't really work that well. If it's an ultra heavy attack, you kind of just die. You know what I mean? Like, your whole team just dies if you take too much damage. That's what happens in, like, Swarm Disaster a lot. You just die a lot because she's taking too much damage. There's nothing you can do about it. It's like, yeah, she has this damage mitigation she gives your team, but she just dies because she's absorbing all the damage from everybody on the team. So round 1 is probably, in my opinion, the hardest part of this. This part's a lot easier, but round 1, I think, is where most people are struggling because the damage you're taking is crazy, and you have crowd control on top of that. So let's go ahead and run it here. All right, let's check it. Let's see what happens. I mean, but obviously you guys be able to be the telltales, because I looked at my friends list, right? And so far, I've seen maybe one person on my friends list that has stage 4 completed. So I think that tells the difficulty. Generally, I see my friends, especially when it comes to MOC, they all clear it pretty fast. So yeah, and I will also just say that this one is kind of definitely pushing Yun Lee pretty hard, right? The physical weakness on everything this patch is crazy. I mean, that's probably. I mean, no, I can guarantee you that's how it always is, right? But it seems far more prevalent right now because we have three forms of in game, and all of them are like, you ain't got a physical DPS. Good luck. Okay, I finally remember the character name. If you don't got a boot heal, if you don't have a Yun Lee, you don't have Argenti. Good luck, brother. And it's like it feels bad, you know, and it kind of stinks because, like I said, all the end games kind of pushing that right now. And you might disagree, but at least to me, it seems like that. I could be tripping, but in my opinion, it seems like they're pushing physical DPS harder than ever because there are three forms of end game. It was different when there was one form. It's like obviously they're pushing it on the rate up in the MOC, but now I'm going to MOC, right? I could feel that I'm lacking the physical DPS because I have to switch my teams around and try different things because I can't break shields because I don't have whatever. Like, you know, I'm having to brute force my way through the shields, obviously. But then, you know, I've been in pure fiction. Same thing. I'm not able to clear with my DOT team as efficiently because there just happens to be not a single wave of lightning or wind, like weakness enemies. So I can't do much to them. I can't pop any of the enemies with ults and stuff because nobody's weak to it because everybody's with the physical. Then you hop over to this. And guess what? Not many people here are also weak to lightning and wind. So it's like some of your teams become just like, I cannot use these teams. I need to have X elemental factor character to really do good. You know what I mean? And it's like, even if you can beat it, it's unnecessarily stressful because you're playing off type. And that's where you get to the point where you start pulling for, you know, that's why people pull for every character they see, you know? And it's like, I probably could pull for Yun Lee right now, but unfortunately, I'll be honest, I saw some leaked gameplay for a character, and that character looks awesome. I have to be honest. It's a playstyle that I'm not the most fond of, but I will say, seeing the gameplay of the character is going to make me hop into that playstyle. And that's all I'm going to say, you know? It seems like y'all, like this community really cares. I wish they didn't use the skill. Well, I guess they had to use the skill. This community is very serious about very, very serious about leaks. So I won't delve into that because I don't know who's watching me and I don't know how you feel about it. So that's why I'm being very shallow with saying who I saw and what the gameplay is. Because I don't want to give you any hints, especially if you respect. Like, I would respect people's, you know, wanting to want to know or not to know. I would respect that. So therefore, that's why I'm not going into details. But I saw a character that has a very cool play style, very cool design. I just saw it before I'm recording this video, and I want that character. I just got a car, so I can't swipe anymore to get what I want because I got a car payment, y'all. So, and by the way, we cleared. Is this better? Oh, actually, I got a new record. It's funny. So yeah, I did better than I did before. But yeah, I want that character. So, as much as Yun Lee will make all the stuff easier that I just did, right, I still cleared it. You know what I mean? Will Yun Lee as a physical DPS probably will it probably round out all of my teams if I invest in her? I think so, right? I really do think if I was to hop in and go for her and I got her, she would round out my teams better than other supports would. I know that sounds crazy, right? Because like I can support my Acron, I can support my Firefly harder than what I do, than what I am right now. But those characters overperform and excel when on type weakness, right? They do decent on neutral, but that's every character in the game, right? Like these things apply, and this Acron can, you know, she kind of muscles her way into all types, right? And same with Firefly, she's implanting her weakness on everybody. But rather than go through the hassle that I just did right now, right? What if I just had the physical DPS, right? Whatever physical DPS comes back as a main attribute, I can clear it, right? And like if we just take a look at my roster, right? And let's go ahead and do this real quick. So, got the light cone, got Eidolons. Sparkle has her light cone. Because I just know it's going to pop up. You know, we have that light cone's maxed out, I'm pretty sure. Max, you know. Yeah, that. We got Fwan with the free to play one. It's honestly literally great. We have E1. We got Lucky. We got it. Who else was just on the team just now? We got Firefly with her light cone. I'm pretty sure. Yup, got her light cone. We got Renmei with her light cone. I think it's crazy not having sports with light cones. I think it's obvious. In my brain, it's obvious what sports should have their light cones, and that's why I have them for the sports, right? In my opinion, it's very obvious who should get them and who should not. Who else was on the team? Is that the team? Oh, MC, right? We had MC and we had Luosha. I'll show MC. He's maxed out. We got this on him. Cool. And then Luosha, do you have Eidolons? No, he doesn't. And we do not have his light cone because he didn't really need it. But yeah, just wanted to throw that out there and show it. But yeah, at this point in my gaming career on this game, it probably makes sense for me to pull DPSs of types now, right? Because that's what I'm lacking. The only thing my account is lacking are current patch DPSs. So, support's timeless. We've already went over this, right? Supports generally can last you a long time. But what doesn't last you a long time are DPSs. And yes, they can still clear, right? I'm not saying they can't. It just requires over-investment to clear versus just pulling the new character, which requires less investment, right? You know what I'm saying? It's not a skill issue like, oh wow, look at me, I completed the new content with this old character. Look at me, I'm so good. No, it has nothing to do with skill. You just over-invested in an old character. I can over-invest in the clear, or I can just pull Young Lee, who's just better. You know what I mean? Like, you're doing all this work to make a past character do numbers that are really out of their realm, but this idea of hyper carry just blows people's brains up. I can only imagine what this game would be like if there wasn't such a thing, right? If hyper carry wasn't a thing. Because I play gacha games where you cannot just buff up a old character and make the character useful. You just can't do it. The character gets cooked in all content when it's out of date. But Star Wars likes to appease, and Miho likes to appease to, the players that love to hold on to old things. So, they let you guys have your hyper carry, and it blows some people's brains up who use these super, super old characters. Because in my opinion, I think characters should age out after a year. That's just my opinion. And obviously most people don't agree with that. And you don't have to agree with that. That's fine. I just think in real normal gacha standards, characters age out. And I feel like MiHoYo really pushes the boundaries of trying to keep characters in to appease the fan base who doesn't want to spend money or doesn't, want to tap in. But yeah, at this point in my account, if you look at my account, it's time for me to get new DPSs of types. I'm lacking. I could even say I'm technically lacking Ice. Jingli Yu, I feel like she's just getting old. I just don't feel like she hits the same. Maybe I didn't build her right. I mean, I know I didn't build her. I never really over-invested in any character because I'm a horizontal player versus vertical. I know y'all have heard this, right? Vertical are people that build up one character, taking anything. I'm horizontal. I branch off a lot. When I find characters that interest me, I pull them and I build. I don't just take 9 months to build. I don't do that. I'm not taking 9 months to build a character. If I see a new character that interests me, I will then pivot to that playstyle. The longest playstyle that I've played with is, and more in particular, Kafka. Kafka has, if I wish there was like a playtime thing and then once these cleared, Kafka has the longest reign on my account. Kafka has, it's crazy how much content she cleared with Sampo before Black Swan came out. The team, everybody like, this is mid, like, because the DOT's mid because you're using Sampo. I cleared consistently with her. And it's crazy. I had a team with Kafka, Sampo, Depard, and Bailu. Those were my MOC clears. Hard carries for a long time, right? She has my number one time. But as a lightning DPS, she's not really there. Genuine, not a great lightning DPS. We got Acron, right? Fire DPS. I want you to look at my account for a second. Don't really have any. You can say Topaz. I don't play follow-up. I don't like follow-up. So, no Topaz, right? Like, even though she has a icon and everything, I do not like follow-up that much, which is why it's not invested in. So, as my fire DPS, doesn't really happen. Same for Himiko. Another follow-up character standard. Not really a fan of it. That's what we have Firefly for. Then physical. Not a DPS. Literally no more physical DPSs outside of Fist Dude. Not investing in 4 stars. And then we have Clara, day 1 character. I like physical DPS. Ice. The most current one I have, Jingli Yu. She feels underwhelming right now. I don't know why. She feels underwhelming. Even when I buff her up, she feels underwhelming. So, need a new Ice DPS. Imaginary. Danheng. Pretty great. Guess who's countering who? Guess who's his new imaginary person? Harmony MC. It's crazy how that works. Harmony MC I can take him into content and do it without an actual DPS on team, and I'm probably doing more damage than I've done on team right now. Obviously, this still comes down to build, right? My build is just not great, but his build is so good. If I'm playing imaginary weakness, that I could just run him, right? Does that all types win? No win DPS either. Like I'm missing a lot of on type just damage dealers on my account. But yeah, I can still clear. I've always been able to clear, even missing those things. But now I'm in a point where I should be pulling on banners like Yun Lee to fill those gaps. And I strayed so hard from what I was supposed to be talking about. I am sorry. If you somehow managed to watch this far, you are a trooper. I just yapped so hard. What did that have to do with Apocalypse Shadow being the new hardest content in the game? I don't know. Oh, well, now I remember why I got there. The whole point is that I was saying is that this Apocalypse Shadow, MOC, and what do you call it? Pure Fiction are really, really pushing for you to want to go ahead and grab some follow-up attackers and some physical attackers. It's really pushing that right now. That's how we got on this dilemma, right? And I feel like I'm missing it, but I'm able to make up for it because, yes, I do have E6 Acron with a mid build. Because I have Acron, I can make up for it. Because I have Firefly, I can make up for it, right? Because in my opinion, I feel like there's some characters that you could just tell that are gonna be great no matter what situation they are. And those are two characters I think are great in any situation, which is why I have them, right? So, yeah. If you don't have those characters, what do you do for this MOC? Or what do you do for this Apocalyptic Shadow? What do you do for MOC? What do you do for Pure Fiction? I don't know. Good luck. Goodbye.